In Dr. Birx's interview with Face the Nation, a couple of questions came up specifically about Donald Trump and his involvement in the pandemic. So first of all, the fact that, remember, he got COVID. How did that happen?
But how did the task force allow the president, who calls himself a germaphobe, to get COVID himself? How did that happen?
There were only 2 people who regularly wore a mask in the White House. Myself and Tyler Ann McGuffrey, the support person that I had from HHS.
So the staff around the president was not wearing a mask. He's the commander in chief. This is a national security risk.
I mean, that's sort of like, yeah. Now, there were follow-up questions about, did you make it clear that they should need to be wearing masks? And I will say, as critical as I'm being over in this segment, everybody knows that you had to wear a mask. Like everybody a month in knew that you had to wear a mask, and the people who didn't made a political choice. Their identity became wrapped up in not wearing a mask. And so I don't think that if Birx had gone up to Stephen Miller and said, hey dude, it would be better and more responsible for you to wear a mask, I don't think he would have. But yeah, she's confirming it is as bad as it looked from the outside. It wasn't that Trump refused to wear a mask in public because he thought it would make him weak, but behind the scenes he was a germaphobe, so he wore it. Apparently no, all of them either genuinely believe that masks are a Bill Gates conspiracy to infect your blood with demon semen, or like they were just that selfish and it was their political identity.
Oh my God. I want that demon semen because then like maybe I could get, child support, live off of that. Sorry, that was gross.
The
John
palace
said it
in
first.
hell waiting for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was the Trump's favorite doctor that he retweeted or whatever was the one who used to talk about demon semen. Anyway, okay, so in terms of, we get a little bit more information from behind the scenes. You appreciate in her perspective?
I guess it's a thankless, it really is a thankless position that she was put in. And I think most people probably would have resigned at some point for their own sake to sort of like save face. And it would have, I think, told the country that it would have said a lot to this country, because I think that then you don't have pretty much any scientist or any physician, anyone who is qualified supporting the administration. And instead, I think what happened is that by her remaining, she ended up validating where he was coming from. And I think that that's, again, I don't envy that position. I think, because you imagine you're there, you're like, well, okay, he listens to me because I am a blonde woman with nice scarves, but I also sort of know what I'm talking about. How do I balance this? What do I do? I wanna help people. I wanna actually get information out. But I think, and I know we're gonna talk about this, as soon as you see that is falling on deaf ears, then maybe you should move along.
Well, what if there was a moment that made very clear that he didn't know nothing, he wasn't gonna learn anything, he didn't give a damn about anything? It turns out there was a moment like that. And so she was, of course, asked in this interview about the drinking bleach moment.
Some people felt you became an apologist for President Trump. They look at that moment in the briefing room.
Then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
You were sitting there and he looked at you and he asked about ultraviolet light and heat.
See?
And
that?
And you start talking about fevers. You didn't say
this is the no.
Deborah, have you ever heard of that? The heat and the light relative to certain viruses, yes, but relative to this virus?
Not as a treatment. He was not speaking to me. This is what, when you talked about, was I prepared for that? No, I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't even know what to do in that moment.
Sometimes people say, well, Tony Fauci, when that happened to him, he would sort of gently come back up to the podium and set the record straight.
Well, he was given the opportunity to do that.
And you don't feel you were given the opportunity to respond?
Not until he turned to me and said, could this be a treatment? And I said, not a treatment.
Okay, so there's more to that. And she says that originally he was talking to someone else sitting next to her, but he asked her a question very specifically about vis-a-vis in regard to the disinfectant, I know. If you had stood up and said, well, that's crazy, he would have fired you. But this was an official COVID press conference where he was telling people, maybe we put the light inside. And that was actually happening as the pandemic was warming up. So I would want people to think that I wasn't as involved as I obviously was too, but we remember what happened.
No, I mean, exactly. And also people died because they injected and tried to ingest bleach, ingested at least. It had consequences. Not correcting that record, as stupid of an idea as it was to attempt to drink bleach to get rid of coronavirus, she didn't correct the record. And Birx's not standing up and saying, no, let me just clarify. I think that we're all, like, you can couch it. We're all looking at experimental treatments and the president, praise him, but he is wrong.
Yeah, I guess you can't just stand up and say, like, you dumbass. You can't say that. Yes, I get it, but you got to do something. It's crazy talk, and we focus on the bleach because it's the most insane. But how many weeks of hydroxychloroquine?
Oh my God!
How much conversation? How much time during the pandemic was wasted for that? And the back and forth and all of it. And the thing is, look, so that's all that I really want to show from the interview. It's not to say that she didn't do good things behind the scenes. Maybe she did. Maybe it is possible that she did. But I'm gonna remember some things like the bleach thing, and I'm also gonna remember back when, relatively early in March, the first 2 weeks of the lockdown, when she said of Trump, he's been so attentive to the scientific literature and the details and the data. I think his ability to analyze and integrate data that comes out of his long history in business has really been a real benefit during these discussions about medical issues. And so that's why he then went on an interview and said, I've had people tell me that I understand this better than anybody, better than a doctor. I should have been a doctor. Like, whether this is misinforming the public or causing Trump to think he's better suited to deal with this pandemic and doesn't need the experts than he actually was, that effect doesn't seem to have been positive either. And when you come out in the first few weeks of a pandemic that ends up killing nearly 500,000 people so far, and you say that he's got this great mind like a supercomputer, then maybe people should have been more critical of Trump early on. Maybe they should have demanded more, but they didn't because some people were misinforming us. And I'm not saying that she was in the top 5 or even the top 20 of misinformers, but she was part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.